Anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there. If you ever need us, give us a call. Visit our website at newcombandcompany.com. As you always hear us say, your comfort is our business.
Tim Donnelly here, and I want to tell you about the coolest place in town, the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry in their Village District location in Raleigh. Not only do they have the coolest selection of timepieces, we're talking pre-owned and vintage Rolexes, Hamilton, Norcane, and so much more, but they're also a vibe. Vinyl records playing, grab yourself a drink, and enjoy some great company. It's the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop. Luxury watches, men's jewelry, and unique gifts. Visit BaileyBox.com for more and cool out.
It's time to get that brand new Buick you've been wanting. It's the Buick Savings Event at Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. Up to $3,000 in discounts are available on all remaining Buicks. Plus, a GM purchase allowance and 0.9% financing is available for 36 months. All topped off with deferred monthly payments for 90 days. See dealer for full details. Buick, exceptional by design. Hurry to Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford or online at wilkinsonCars.com.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Enbridge Gas, formerly Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas. Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas customers are now proudly served by Enbridge Gas. Looking forward to a bright future together. To learn more, visit enbridgegas.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, taking over The Fan here following a win for UNC, 68-59 over Wake Forest. Our coverage live from here in Charlotte, the location of the ACC Men's Basketball Tournament, presented by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, First Horizon Bank, Wake Med, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. Here's the deal, everybody. We're not going to pretend like the mechanism or the travel matters, the transportation we got from the beginning of the ACC tournament to where we will be tomorrow, which is Duke, UNC, in the ACC tournament with a ton on the line outside of even the rivalry and it being the third go-round for Duke and UNC. And the irony is, after watching both of their games today, and many of you have listened to them right here on our family of networks, the similarities of what they just went through. Like what we just watched UNC go through. First of all, yikes start. Okay, both Duke and UNC. I mean, we were getting Duke UNC. We were staring through the first 5 minutes of each of those games, 10 minutes of each of those games at Georgia Tech Wake. But instead we get Duke UNC because after those yikes starts, they fought back. Second similarity, adversity. What UNC went through, a different kind of adversity, but Duke also faced it, right? UNC... I have to give Hubert Davis credit, and I have to give Steve Forbes credit that they weren't much more demonstrative towards the officials. And I hate that the refs became part of the story. I say that often, but Hubert Davis picked up a technical foul. They had to control their teams. The refs were, the nice part is they were consistent. The bad part was they weren't consistently good. They let football plays go, and then they were touchy on some calls. It was a really tough one to handle. And UNC was able to overcome all of that against a good Wake Forest team that was getting a star performance from Hunter Salas and win anyway. And then obviously the adversity for Duke involves injuries, whether it was Malik Brown going out and apparently in a tremendous amount of pain with the shoulder injury. And then, as many of you know, Cooper Flagg going out with the ankle injury, rolled his ankle, not expected to play tomorrow, at least not based on the comments of John Shire in the postgame. And they were able to overcome that adversity. They win the game. So now Duke, Carolina tomorrow. Let's dive into UNC a bit further because that's the game you just listened to here on 99.9 The Fan. And credit where it's due, RJ Davis. There was a let me bring up my notes here, sitting courtside taking notes like a nerd in school. All right, here it is. With a few minutes before half, all right, I'm going to let everybody into how it felt in the building in the Spectrum Center. A few minutes before half, RJ Davis hit his second three. I wrote this down. RJ Davis, 2 threes, ... something's percolating. It felt like RJ Davis was teetering on the edge of, am I going to have a classic RJ Davis performance or not? He hit the second three. I wrote down something's percolating, came right out in the second half, knocked down a three very early in that one, which basically confirmed to me that it was going to be one of those days. He finished 5 of 6 from 3, 8 of 8 from the line, led the Tar Heels in scoring with 23. It was a unbelievable efficient day for RJ Davis, which at his worst this year, efficient is not how you could describe RJ Davis. Sometimes shooting his team out of games was more what he was doing. But in this case, the team shot 36.4% from 3. He was 5 of 6 from 3. And that got the team rolling. If I were to give, I don't know, like credit trophies, right? The team win, team first, team always. If I were to say these were the players that won in my initial reactions here, and Dennis Cox, by the way, is currently in the UNC victorious locker room talking to players, getting their insight. So that is literally how fresh these reactions are. It would be 3. Like if I were to do, actually, this is the better way to do it, right? If I were to give the 3 stars, like after Canes games, you see being done, like after hockey games. The 3rd star, I think I'm going to go with, let me make sure I have this right. Don't want to miss anything. Jalen Withers. 3rd star, Jalen Withers. And I love it for this reason. He went 2 of 10, which isn't great. 2 of 7 from 3, which isn't great. But he kept taking the shots. He knocked down a huge 3 from the corner at the end. Felt a bit like a nail in the coffin. But on top of that, missed 3, ends up being dunked by Van Allen Lubin on a tip dunk. So much of what he did was about gathering gravity, right? It was about drawing the defense to him, and then others could benefit from it. 2nd star goes to Van Allen Lubin. 10 points, 13 rebounds, which I believe ties a season high. Had the big dunks, had some plays down the stretch that really led to the win. And then my 1st star would be RJ Davis. The leader showed up when he needed to. The defending ACC Player of the Year showed up when he needed to. And the rest of the team filled in the cracks, and they ended up winning by 9 against Wake Forest in a game that was not a 9-point win, right? It was a 2-possession win at most in vibes and how it felt. There was football plays, as I mentioned. There was an insane amount of contact being played occasionally. Again, I don't want to go too far down the official path, but let's just say occasionally the chippiness was allowed to boil over, and UNC was better for it. They were better to deal with it. It was obvious this was the most desperate game we've seen. Both Wake Forest and North Carolina were fighting for their lives, and it looked ugly at times. It looked ugly a lot of times, but it was competitive throughout. I give both teams a ton of credit. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan from here in Charlotte. Will continue with the vibes and feeling. Dennis Cox just walked into our little dungeon here. With the vibes and feeling from the UNC locker room. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Manor Service Company and their owner, Brett. The reason I bring up Brett is because I had the opportunity to sit down with Brett recently and talk about what their company is all about. One of the things I really like is it started with a guy, A. Manor. I think his name was Anthony. A. Manor. The company was purchased by Brett and his partner from Anthony, but they're such a community organization that A. Manor, the original guy that started Manor Service Company, because he had expertise in the field, still hanging around, still within the company, training the on-site technicians that'll be working on your house for your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. It really is a cool community, family-run organization, and it feels that way. And that's the type of people I like letting into my house, right? They got to feel like friends. I'm not going to open up my house and give them the key to all my crawl spaces and everything else if I don't feel like they have my back. Mainer Service Company definitely feels like they have your back, and that's why you need to give them a call, 919-361-0993, or just bookmark the phone number for if and when, reluctantly, I don't hope it happens to you, but you want to be prepared. Something goes wrong with your heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical. You want to know where that phone number is, so already have it in your phone. Bookmark it, 919-361-0993, or you can Google them, find them online at MainerServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. Insight from the victorious UNC locker room coming up next, and we hear from the Duke contingent players and coaches after their win earlier today. Stick around.
Soundstation and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Soundstation and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Soundstation and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Soundstation and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Everything for the exterior of your home, but it's also everything for the peace of mind of the customer. Talk to me about the trust factor and everything else that you guys offer.
I got to tell you, I think one of the biggest things for us is we don't take any payment from you for any of your home improvement needs until we're done with the project. I hear stories all the time about people putting down deposits with companies, 25-50% of the project total overall, and they don't even know, they don't show up.
Right.
You've lost whatever percentage you put down, that's how much power you lost already. Right? So with us, you pay nothing until we're done. Typically we're not the least expensive, and we're certainly not the most expensive. You get 3 or 4 estimates, we're going to fall right there in the middle. But, you're going to have a warranty that's lifetime, transferable for 10 years on any of the products we sell typically. And we've been around since 1961. You can trust us. We've been around forever.
It is about trust, and I think you guys are the most trustworthy business that I know. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Shamrock. Everybody's Irish at Hibernian Pub's St. Patrick's Day celebrations. This year, there's double the Irish with 2 parties.
Come out for a wee drum.
Saturday, March 15th, Hibernian takes over Glenwood South from noon till 9 with live music, Irish dancers, bagpipers, and great food and drinks to celebrate all day. Then Monday, March 17th, there's a live DJ party on North Street next to Hibernian Pub on Glenwood from noon to 9. Get details at hibernianpub.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here, joined by Dennis Cox in the Spectrum Center in Charlotte for the ACC Men's Basketball Tournament. Our coverage from Charlotte this week, presented by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, First Horizon Bank, Wake Med, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. If you're just tuning in, we have confirmed, based on both teams winning today, that Duke and UNC will match up for a third time men's basketball. It'll be tomorrow in the, what is this now, the quarterfinals?
Yeah, so we semis tomorrow.
Semis, you're right. It'll be the semifinals of the ACC tournament with a winner advancing to the championship. Dennis.
Second time in 7 days we'll have met.
Second time in 7 days they'll have met. Dennis, you were just in the UNC victorious locker room.
Yeah.
What'd you learn about UNC as they have now won? They're the first team in this ACC tournament to win games on back-to-back days. First team to punch their ticket, or not the first team to, but another team to punch their ticket into the semis. What'd you learn about UNC?
A lot of the guys said this, that Elliot Cadeau talked to Seth Trimble, also talked to Drake Powell as well. And they all said, hey, in this game in November, they would have lost. That's what they said. Like, hey, in November, we would have lost this game. And I think that's a testament to the level that this team is playing at right now. And actually, Seth Trimble did say this post-game. He was asked, have you guys played your best basketball yet? And he actually thought about it. He says, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. He's like, I feel like there is another level which this team can get to. They can still get better. And we have seen since the loss against Clemson, this team really ascending. This team really is starting to play their best basketball. I mean, you could tell afterwards that they were a little, lack of a better term, a little beat up, but they were feeling it physically because that was an extremely physical game. And they said, hey, refs just let us go. Refs let us play. Everyone understood, but they also understood what was at stake in that game. They knew they needed to win that.
The refs alternated between letting them play and having a quick whistle, which is how you end up with Lubin, Cadeau, 4 fouls in a game where it felt like they let them play football. But that is, actually, like, there's some self-awareness there. The fact that multiple players obviously means that they had talked about it as a team, said, like, hey, we wouldn't win that game in November. First of all, I think they're being generous. I'm not sure they win that game, a month ago.
Even in January. I don't think in January.
Early February. That Clemson game was February 10th. I'm not sure if you go back to February 10th, they win that game. But they're a better team now. I mean, frankly, they're a better team. And I think they are a better team now because they had those tough conversations that lead to realizations like we would not have won that game, right? They had to be tougher. And I know you're high on this guy. Van Allen Lubin played a massive part in today's game.
Yeah.
That's a transfer who wasn't a prominent member of their rotation at times this year. Jalen Washington's role has gone up and down. Jalen Withers' role has gone up and down. Van Allen Lubin's role has gone up and down. And it seems like they've settled in now in a place where their roles are trusted.
Yes.
It's RJ Davis knows what he's going to do, and he doesn't feel like he has to do more, which I think early in the year he was pressing, probably because he didn't trust the guys around him as much to do their job, so he felt like he had to do everything. Drake Powell. Well, like, actually, even better, Drake Powell and Elliot Cadeau towards the end of the game are subbing offense-defense.
Yes.
And Drake Powell's making huge plays on defense, stealing the ball seemingly straight out of the hands of the inbounder while face guarding the inbounder. And now it's like, look at that. They understand their roles so much better. Jalen Withers, you may not know this because you're 6'10" or whatever you are. You're a shooter. You're a spacing shooter.
Yeah, that is.
And whether you're making them or not, you have to keep shooting them, which is why I think he had a great day, or a great game, even though he shot 2 for 10 and 2 for 7 from 3, because the act of taking those shots allowed Van Allen Lubin to do his job down low, allowed RJ Davis to do his job, and on and on and on and on. They're a team that just they know who they are more, which is a bit surprising because if you look at so many of the teams that are having success this year, they returned more, right? They brought back Elliot Cadeau, Seth Trimble, RJ Davis, Jalen Washington, Jalen Withers. Like, they had so many returners that it's surprising it took them that long to get to where they understood their roles. But then you include like, hey, Armando Bacot's not there anymore, and that's going to shake up everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And you add in an Ian Jackson, you add in a Drake Powell, like it's all going to change a little bit. So they got there. We'll find out tomorrow if they got there too late or not, because I still believe they have to beat Duke in order to make the NCAA tournament. But they did get there.
Well, we'll dive into that a little bit. Some of that scoreboard watching that I mentioned yesterday and today worked in their favor.
We absolutely have time for it. We have another hour of the drive here. We're taking you all the way up to 6:30, the ESPN pregame for the Stanford at Louisville game coming up at 7 o'clock. Before we look at the other side, how did Duke and overcome their adversity to end up in the semifinals? But first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 a month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you could do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free rate quote now with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The drive with Tim Donnelly's coverage from Charlotte of the ACC Men's Basketball Championship continues next.
Hey, it's Adam from Counting Crows, and we were going to hire a typical route radio guy to tell you about the summer's Complete Suites tour, but I wanted to just invite you myself. Guess I should. Old songs, new songs. We'll be joined by our friends, the Gaslight Anthem. It's a summer butter miracle. Come and hang with us. Okay, your turn now.
July 17th, Red Hat Amphitheater, Raleigh. Tickets on sale Friday at livenation.com. Presented by Live Nation.
Attention watch enthusiasts and collectors. Bailey's Fine Jewelry invites you to an exclusive pre-owned Rolex event happening for 2 days only, March 21st and 22nd at their Village District location in Raleigh. Discover North Carolina's largest selection of vintage and pre-owned Rolex timepieces, featuring sought-after models like the Daytona and Submariner, and collector favorites like the iconic Pepsi and Hulk. Whether you're a seasoned collector or searching for your very first Rolex, this is your chance to explore an unmatched collection March 21st and 22nd only at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Village District. Visit BaileyBox.com for event details. Your perfect Rolex awaits.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Something amazing is happening in data management. Even though storage needs are constantly changing, companies are only paying for what they need now. That's because CDW customized a Pure Storage Evergreen One SLA-driven storage-as-a-service solution that delivers enterprise-grade hybrid cloud storage that is effortless, efficient, and evergreen. Simplify storage administration with Pure Storage and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/purestorage.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharkies. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime, and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Enbridge Gas. Formerly Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas, Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas customers are now proudly served by Enbridge Gas. Looking forward to a bright future together. To learn more, visit enbridgegas.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I don't know.
Is it? Is it your bag, Graham?
I don't know. I don't pretend to be up on all the hip songs, but this guy's awesome.
This is Duke's basketball
awesome.
playlist.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
This guy's awesome. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, live from Charlotte, along with Dennis Cox, Graham Hill, who you just heard back at the studio, keeping us up and running. Listen, this segment, we're talking Duke basketball. They're going to play UNC tomorrow in the semifinals of the ACC Tournament. I have thoughts on the game today, but let's be real. If you're tuning in looking for information about Duke basketball right now, it is likely information on the Cooper Flagg injury. I can tell you it changed the energy in the room at the Spectrum Center. Went up for a rebound. I'll give you my kind of firsthand account. I thought he was away from everyone on Georgia Tech when I first saw it. It looked like they were no one was around him, and he went down and immediately crumpled, which made me think non-contact, which made me get very, very, very worried for the young man. Go back and watch the replay. There was a situation where he jumped up for a rebound, came down, just barely clipped a Georgia Tech player's foot, which just kind of inverted his ankle. It's a rolled ankle. It's a sprained ankle. And that brings it, like, timing of it is everything, right? If that happens in December, you give him the weeks necessary to get better, and you hit the postseason ready to roll. Mm-hmm. It happens in their first game of the ACC tournament. His availability in the ACC tournament and NCAA tournament come into play. For an update, John Shire, the head coach, spoke to the media after the game. He did provide an injury update on Cooper Flagg, and I think had a pretty level head about his future availability.
He just came down, sprained his ankle. X-rays were negative, which is great. We just have to understand there's going to be swelling and to see how he recovers and how he goes from there. Look, to be honest with you, I would have to be convinced by everybody in the locker room when I go back that he should play. It's not worth it. It just isn't. And again, I mean, he was swollen already. It's not about being ready to go tomorrow. That's not the most important thing for us. We got to see if we can get him right for this run that we can make in the tournament. But I would have to be really convinced that we should even consider seeing if he can go tomorrow. And he may not be able to go anyway. He probably won't be able to go anyway. But I think it's a real long shot,
How about that? How can everything change on one single tweaked ankle for an entire conference, right? Because if you look at how all of this was how all of it kind of went down, the whole season, right? It was always Duke was going to be the flag bearer. They were going to be the flag carrier for the ACC into the postseason. Now you have everyone very worried about that. What I will tell you is when he got hurt, the score was 26-17 in favor of Georgia Tech.
Yeah. And
the quote-unquote others of Duke lit it up and ended up winning the game 78-70. Con Knipple stepped up in a big way.
Massive.
To the point where it makes you wonder, like, what would a season with Con Knipple as what I call the main character, the main dude for Duke look like? But it wasn't just him. There was a 12-0 run to start the second half that in the post-game remarks, Damon Stoudemire, the head coach of Georgia Tech, I think gave about as good a compliment about that run as you can ever give. He said, it reminded me of, and then he turned to his players. He had Powell and Terry next to him, two guys for Georgia Tech. He goes, you guys are too young to remember this, but some of you out there might. He said, it reminded me of 2000 when I was on the Trailblazers and I was playing against, in Game 7, Shaq and Kobe and those Lakers, and they went on a, 27-point run, and it ended with Kobe throwing the alley-oop to Shaq. Shaq catches it, dunks it, and does the big eyes and the point as he's running down floor, which is one of the more iconic plays in NBA history. And basically what he said was, during that run, all we needed to do as Trailblazers was score one bucket, right? If you just scored one bucket and the run ended, then the whole rest of the game is different. But the run kept going, it kept building until eventually Shaq and Kobe won. And he said the same thing about the run starting at the end of the second half into, I think it ended up being an 18-2 or a 15-0 run. He said Duke did the same thing, and all we needed was, one lucky roll, one shot, one foul call, just something to slow it down, and the whole game would have been different. And my mind immediately went to, he just compared Duke without Cooper Flagg to the 2000 Lakers. That's about as high praise as you can give to a team who was missing their best player at the time. And it was, I have the entire kind of play-by-play written down. There was a block by Malawash. There was a block by Malawash, Knipple 3, 2 for 2 Malawash free throws, a Sion James 3, a Malawash putback, crowd going nuts. Like, it was a little bit of kind of everybody getting involved. And that's a credit to Duke on the other side of a Flagg injury. That is when they made the run that ended up winning them the game.
We saw that really the momentum really flip after the under 4 media timeout. So there's 3:56 remaining in the first half. Media timeout, they come out, they get a Knipple layup, they get a block by
I have this written down also.
Then they had a block by Flagg, which led to Isaiah Evans hitting the first 3 of the game for Duke right after that with 3:17 to go. So in like a 43-second stretch, after 43 seconds after a media timeout, Damon Stoudemire immediately goes, timeout. Timeout.
And up to that point, Georgia Tech was the better team.
100%.
Duke could not shoot the 3. They started 0 for 13 from 3. Georgia Tech was playing well. Powell was knocking them down. Dongo had a few big plays. Dongo met Cooper Flagg at the rim on a Flagg-attempted dunk, got the block.
Yeah.
Everything was going Georgia Tech's way. And then you're right, that 43 seconds from 3:56 left to 3:13 left, everything kind of flipped. Even when the Flagg injury threw a hiccup in that and changed the energy in the room, Duke was still able to power along. They end up getting the win. And now they have 24 hours to regroup and figure out how they want to attack UNC tomorrow with not just Flagg out, but Malik Brown also expected to miss after dislocating his shoulder for the second time this year, which is, I don't believe that's going to get enough attention because the Cooper Flagg injury is going to overshadow it. But even if Flagg was playing, Malik Brown out would have been a massive story as well. Matter of fact, we're going to look at the impacts of the injuries moving forward. Still have to highlight Knipple a little bit and give Malik Brown his due for the impact that his missing may provide. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we take a break, though, Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending, home of the no closing cost loan. Tried and true, right? I just talked about how these two teams had to overcome adversity today to make their way into the semis. Well, guess what? Interest rates are high. Control what you can control, right? If interest rates go up, there's nothing you can do there. All you can do is control what you can control, like going to Miller Lending and getting a no closing cost loan. So if or when rates drop, you can refinance, pounce on that opportunity, and lower your monthly payment with no cost to you. When I say no closing cost, I mean no closing cost. The no outside fees, no closing costs, no third parties getting involved, no fees rolled over into other payments, no surprises. No means no, zero means zero. If you're interested in it, go ahead and give a call to Miller Lending, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. The impact of the injuries and how did Duke deal with it, plus some sound from the players. Knipple, Sion James. We have the audio next.
The soundtrack to some of your best memories comes to life on one stage. Toad the Wet Sprockets 2025 Good Intentions Tour is coming your way with special guests KT Tunstall and Sixpence None the Richer. August 21st at Coca Booth Amphitheater. The songs you love, the memories you cherish. Sing along, dance, and celebrate with friends old and new. Get your tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at boothamphitheater.com for one incredible night of music, memories, and good intentions. August 21st at Coca Boca Booth Amphitheater.
Well, springtime is on the way, and the next couple of months are going to be critical for lawn care. That's why we're back with Kevin from Fairway Green. Crabgrass, weeds, fertilizer, time to get busy.
Now's a fantastic time to put down your first application of crabgrass control, and if you have a cool season lawn, it's a great time to put down fertilizer and broadleaf weed control. Broadleaf weeds never stop.
Great advice as usual. Nothing beats a Fairway Green lawn. Request a free estimate online at fairwaygreen.com or call 919-329-0095.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com. And get ready for the workday.
Is your plumbing outdated or just not getting the job done? Call Newcomb & Company to see how we can help get your home operating at peak performance. Our experienced plumbers can repair or replace faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, as we cruise towards more ACC tournament action here on 99.9 The Fan. Next up, Stanford at number 13 Louisville. I say at number 13 Louisville. 13 Louisville is the home team, but it's being played in the building we're in right now, Spectrum Center in Charlotte, not in Louisville, the Yum Center.
Yeah.
7 o'clock start for that one, 6:30 pregame. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. SMU and Clemson, the late night game for the ACC tournament tonight, starting at 9:30, or more likely whenever that Louisville game gets over, because they've been of different paces here in Charlotte this week. Duke had to deal with the Cooper Flag injury. Mm-hmm. We talked about it. And I actually like the way it kind of worked, because we got to do a segment before the break about the injury and about the recovery and his availability and everything else, updated by John Shire, which is basically sprained his ankle. It's swelling up. X-rays came back negative. He doesn't expect him to play because it's not worth it. But there's the other side to it as well, which is Duke played really well when Cooper Flag went out, and I find it difficult not to act like today was a good day for Con Knippel, who had a career high in points. I have the number right here for you. I believe it was 28 points, 22 in the second half. Mm-hmm. Shot 7 of 14 from the field, and 12 of 13 from the free throw line. That's a great day for a player who has some ability.
And he did talk about his role changing.
Mm-hmm.
Graham, I hope you have the audio clip here available. But Con Knippel did talk about, hey, when his role changed when Cooper Flag went out of the game. Here's what Con Knippel had to say in the locker room.
I mean, yeah, just playing more in the pick and roll. We did that a lot. Me and Kaman did that a lot in the first time we played them. But yeah, I mean, just try to make the right play on whatever action we're running.
It was super obvious that Con Knippel and Kaman Malawash love playing with each other. That two-man game ended with a bunch of lobs for Malawash and a bunch of open scoring opportunities for Con Knippel. They had great chemistry, and whether Flag, like if Flag comes back in the NCAA tournament and is his normal self high usage, I still think they have to find a ton of opportunities to get Knipple the ball with Malawash setting the screen because of how well it looked today.
The more you can do, the better. And
Mhm.
we've seen Knipple and Flag run pick and roll. We've seen Flag and Malawash run pick and roll. If you can add this other wrinkle in there with it, it only benefits because Con Knipple inside the paint when he's attacking the rim is as good as anyone else on that team at finishing.
Yep.
Like he really has the patience and footwork inside the lane to create himself some space that he can actually finish and finish cleanly. And he can play through contact too. He does have the size. I think this team really learned, or we actually really got to see today, or at least everyone got to see today, that this isn't just Cooper Flag and friends. Like this is a complete team that has guys that can play with and without the ball. There's a lot of versatility, not only with their lineup, but individual guys have versatility as well. And Knipple showed that today.
And it's something our show, The Drive, has been talking about all year is like in our ACC cons and cons, or in so many of these conversations we have, it needs to make sure it's not always relying on Cooper Flag to make the play, not always relying on Cooper Flag to score the big bucket, because you never know when his availability is going to go away. And in the last two games, for different reasons, he's been out for chunks of the game. Against UNC, he got in foul trouble early and missed big chunks of the first half. Today, obviously, the injury, and who knows how long that'll last, but the team has to be prepared for it. The other injury, Malik Brown, is low-key, maybe not as bad or as impactful would be the better way to say it as Cooper Flag, but it's pretty darn impactful.
It is.
His defensive ability is not to be overlooked, and leadership, veteranship. He's somebody that the team looks to in moments of need.
When you need that lockdown post defender, especially late in the game, it's Malik Brown. Malik Brown is that guy. And we saw, go back to when they played against Auburn.
Yep.
Just, back in the ACC,
or as
Challenge.
recently as UNC, most recently. His impact spans the length of the season.
But go back to that game against Auburn. Who was defending Janai Broom, who's in contention to be the the National Player of the Year? It was Malik Brown was the one that was playing defense on him. It wasn't Malawash. It wasn't Gongwa. It wasn't
Malik Flag.
Brown. It wasn't Flag. It was Malik Brown. Malik Brown can guard any position on the floor. It allows them defensively to switch 1 through 5. He could do that. I'm not saying Malawash can't, because we've seen Malawash do it, but he has that ability to do it off the bench, and he's such a good passer on the offensive end of the floor as well. He has a lot more to his game than people realize, and he's such a key piece.
And just update you on what John Shire, the head coach, had to say about Malik Brown's injury. A whole lot of pain is he emphasized that in the post-game presser. It is the second time he's dislocated his shoulder this year. And I mean, you could see in Shire's face, it stinks to see anybody be in just immense amounts of pain. But when you know the person and you've seen him work, you could tell he was like, man, like that. Malik Brown's a tough guy, and he was in a lot of pain. So, I wouldn't expect his availability to be soon, right? They might have to go on a run in the NCAA tournament to give him a chance to return, especially since it's the second time this year. But that's just me speculating. Basically, the only thing we were updated on is that dude hurt.
Yeah.
He was in pain.
They actually they used a stretcher to take him, because you went to go get more imaging and stuff from the hospital, because they have X-ray machines here. But if they want to do an MRI or anything else, you have to go to the hospital, and they took him out on a stretcher just because of the pain that he was dealing with. Couldn't walk.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, live from Charlotte. We have to update on bracketology. I think the UNC world got a lot simpler today, but some would argue there's always the complications of bracketology at the highest levels. Before we get there, though, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Law Tigers. I got to let you know about an opportunity. It's the month of March. We're all about winning, right? I'm going to give you all an opportunity to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. The simple thing you got to do, just go to caniacsbike.com, because Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes, they're all teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. This is the 4th year in a row that they're giving away a motorcycle, but this is the first time that it's a fully custom build. It's been custom painted in the past, but this is an actual custom built motorcycle by Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, custom painted by Shiny Side Paint with Cane's colors, decals, logos, you name it. It's not just a bike that they slap some stickers and decals on. No, this is full-on custom, folks, and it can be yours. Just go to caniacsbike.com. I can't win this bike, but you can. Just think about all the gorgeous weather that we have going on outside right now. Imagine just cruising around in town on a motorcycle in this wonderful weather that we have going on. I can't wait to get back to Raleigh so I can hop on the bike and start riding around once again. caniacsbike.com, your place to enter. Deadline is April 6th. Bike will be given away on the ice at the last home game of the year. caniacsbike.com to enter. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly will be back answering this question. What does a 68-59 victory for UNC over Wake Forest that just wrapped up moments ago do for their chances at the NCAA tournament? Are the Tar Heels going to be dancing? Next.
Wolfpack Sports Today is presented by Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder sponsor of NC State Athletics. And now, here's Wolfpack Sports Today.
I'm Matt Chaz, and Al Pack women's basketball's 4 days from the bracket. Wolfpack Sports Today is next.
Dreamfinders Homes is excited to announce their partnership with NC State Athletics as the official home builder sponsor of the Wolfpack. With nearly 50 new and upcoming communities throughout the Carolinas, Dreamfinders Homes offers new and unique home plans built to fit your lifestyle. For more information on Raleigh communities like Glenmere Gardens, South Lakes, and Barrington, and all other move-in ready home inventory, visit dreamfindershomes.com to find your dream home. That's dreamfindershomes.com. Go Pack.
Maynard Service Company is your local expert in heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. For over 28 years, we have been dedicated to making your home a comfortable place to live. We service, repair, maintain, and install all brands, even geothermal. Maynard also has your water heater and generator needs covered. Call Maynard today for any of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs at 919-361-0993.
NC State Women's Hoops almost assuredly hosts the opening rounds of the NCAA Tournament. Head coach Wes Moores asked after the ACC Tourney title game what he and the Pack need to do to go all the way and play at a championship level.
Need to have a little more dog in us and compete. And, when things are going wrong, then momentum shifts. You have to fight that much harder to turn that momentum back around. And again, we've done that at times during the year. And
Moore and the Pack finish 5th in the league in rebound margin and 8th in the ACC in turnover margin. Wolfpack Sports Today continues next.
My name is Dr. David Boone. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Raleigh Orthopedic Clinic. I'm going to talk about ankle sprains. Ankle sprains are one of the more common athletic injuries we see in the athletes we treat on a daily basis. These injuries can range from minor injuries to more complete disruptions of the ankle ligaments. Usually we can treat these athletes non-operatively, but occasionally chronic instability develops and surgery is required.
Thank you, Dr. Boone. Use the same doctors as the NC State Wolfpack. For more information, visit RaleighOrtho.com.
This is the final week of the conference tourneys on the men's side and Selection Sundays this weekend for both the men and women. This is the Wolfpack Sports Network from Learfield.
You've been listening to Wolfpack Sports Today, brought to you by Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder sponsor of NC State Athletics. Wolfpack Sports Today is a Learfield presentation of the Wolfpack Sports Network.
The Dugout Tavern and Grill is the #1 sports bar in Apex and your March Hoops headquarters. Stars of our games, fill out a bracket to win big prizes from New Belgium Brewing, $5 Modelo on game days, daily drink specials, and late night buy one get one half off appetizers. We've got a 16-foot video wall and over 30 other big screen 4K TVs inside and out with state-of-the-art sound always on so you can catch all the hoops action at the Dugout, 1413 Kelly Road, Apex, and the DugoutTavern.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly. We are live in Charlotte, the location of the men's basketball tournament for the Atlantic Coast Conference. Our coverage in Charlotte all week, which includes tomorrow's show, is presented by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, First Horizon Bank, Wake Med, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. Dennis, who is here with me, Dennis Cox, here with me in Charlotte. I think the way that the ACC tournament has broken down, the way that the NCAA tournament kind of hopes have broken down,
yep,
I think it's significantly easier than everybody's making it. I look at the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, Hubert Davis and the bunch, and I say it's very simple. You are playing a wounded Duke team tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be Duke sans Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown. You win that game, you're dancing. You're in the NCAA tournament. If you don't, you're on your way home, and you got to answer some really tough questions about why a program like UNC is not in the NCAA tournament. Dennis, am I seeing the field correctly, or am I missing something obvious?
Well, we talked about some scoreboard watching earlier this morning on our tailgate show, and also yesterday here on the Drive, about Carolina needs to be scoreboard watching for schools like Ohio State, Indiana, Xavier, San Diego State, all games for them to watch. Well, Indiana lost today, a team that was actually ahead of UNC in terms of the bubble, in terms of the last 4 teams in. This is according to Joe Lunardi of ESPN. He actually just updated his bracketology bracket on ESPN literally as of 5 o'clock, so an hour ago. So right after Wake Forest, North Carolina wrapped up. So this morning, North Carolina was the last team in. They've bumped up a spot to number 67 of 68 right now. This again, according to Joe Lunardi. Xavier lost today. They're right there behind Xavier. So again, depending on how the committee would look at those schools. So there is still work that can be done to solidify. I think if they win tomorrow, they should be in, because that's a massive quad one win, a second one for them, which is something that they desperately need. A loss doesn't crush them. But again, it's
I think it might.
But I mean, it might. But again, it all depends on what's going on around you. It really does, and you never know. If even sitting at 67 right now, a couple schools steal bids. Guess what? Someone gets bumped out. For every school that steals a bid, someone has to get moved out, and that's the line that they're flirting with right now. Is that, hey, we're barely in, but we easily can get nudged out.
Ready? You want to hear ACC fans' heads explode all over the triangle right now? There's an article up on ESPN.com. Joe Lunardi contributed, but a few other college basketball writers also. And they were asked questions about the Cooper Flagg injury. And one of the things that they answered is, if it does become a public knowledge thing that Cooper Flagg will miss significant time into the NCAA tournament, right? He sprained his ankle earlier today. We just don't know. That could impact how they see Duke being seeded.
That's stupid.
Now, I agree. Now, that's obviously, I can't imagine, because right now they're sitting to me, they're the number 1 overall seed if they win the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
Maybe falling from number 1 overall to number 2 or 3 overall. I mean, it's still dumb, but it's not a big enough difference for me to get angry.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting part. That tells me that the committee will be taking into account Flagg's injury, which probably means they'll be taking into account Malik Brown's injury, which does in a weird way impact UNC, because the one thing that Duke provided UNC playing tomorrow is the opportunity for that momentous win that they don't have yet, right? They're 1-11 in quad one. They don't have that momentous kind of, hey, top of the resume win. Duke was giving them that opportunity. I hope not, because I think it would be ridiculous, but the committee could basically downgrade the outcome of tomorrow's game and say, if Duke wins, that's really bad for UNC because Duke is not the Duke we thought with the injuries. And if UNC wins, they could say, well, that win isn't as big a deal as we thought it was going to be because Duke isn't who we thought they were with the injuries. It's quite frankly, it's dumb, but it is something that could play in.
It's the same bull crap that the college football selection committee pulled with Florida State.
Exactly.
It's the same
quite literally.
bull crap.
Only I would argue differently, because I think Florida State without Jordan Travis when they got hurt did become a much worse team.
Sure.
I think Duke falls to like the 5th best team in the country without Cooper Flag because the rest of their roster is really, really gushed. It's like if Florida State had, a stud like future Heisman contender backing up Jordan Travis is how I would judge this. If you beat Duke now, that's a massive quad 1 victory, whether Cooper Flag plays or not.
Exactly, and it should count like that. You cannot discount what the team did this season just because a guy gets hurt at this time of year. I hope the selection committee doesn't look at them like, this guy got hurt, we're going to knock you down to a 2 seed. That's stupid. That's dumb. That's be a bunch of bull crap by the committee if they were to pull something like that, because you are telling every single other player on that team, hey, without that guy, you're not good at all. You're discounting what that team accomplished this season. It's not down because of one guy. The committee cannot take that into consideration. They should not take that into consideration with any team and any player that gets hurt at any point in the season. You earn the wins on the floor. Your team scores more than your opponent does. Your team earns a net ranking, not because of one guy. I understand who he is, but the committee cannot pull some bull crap like that if that's something they decide to do.
And you know who needs to talk to Dennis Cox and get that same speech is the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. Yeah. Because if they go into tomorrow's game with anything other than we have to beat the number 1 team in the country, if they go in with, they aren't the number 1 team in the country without Cooper Flag, this makes our job easier, they're going to lose that game. Like that much I know. Matter of fact, we have Drake Powell, freshman for UNC, main contributor, freshman only in name at this point. He was asked about the Flag and Brown injuries, and he basically said doesn't change anything for the Tar Heels.
No, not at all. We just want to come out and focus on us. That's the most important thing. We're going to make them adjust to us, and just be ready to compete.
And that's the right way to think of it. And it's Hubert Davis's job to make sure the team stays in that one game at a time, locked in, all focus mentality that has worked for them recently. I also thought this was interesting going into tomorrow's game. John Shire, his post-game presser, was basically asked once Flag went out and when they were making that run, was the message more X's and O's or was it psychology? And his response was almost all the message that led to the bounce back was psychology.
Yeah.
I think both, like at this point in the season, schematically, basketball ability, you kind of are what you are. Right, like you're not gonna put on 10 pounds of muscle between today and tomorrow.
Nope.
You're not going to take somebody who hasn't been in the rotation and toss them in there and go like, all right, you're playing 30 minutes. Like you are what you are at this point. But coaches have to be absolute watchdogs of the mentality, of the psychology, of how do I turn them mentally from getting punched in the face to doing the punching. And if you're UNC, part of that is, your opponent got injured. Means nothing to you, right? Mm-hmm. Like if it's Cooper Flag, Con Knipple, Isaiah Evans, who's a flamethrower off the bench, whoever it is, they're going to pose certain challenges to you, and you have to be ready to answer those questions.
Sion James actually talked to him post game about the injuries, the emotional roller coaster that it was to take that ride, that it was for them. And Sion James was pretty open about, hey, you know what? We all saw our guy go down, but here's actually Sion James on how did the team handle the emotional roller coaster ride of the injuries to both Malik Brown and Cooper Flag.
Same way we've done everything this year, which is together and connected. We knew that there was going to be adversity throughout the tournament. We knew that things weren't going to go as according to plan, and they've already started that way, but we stayed together, and I'm proud of our guys for that.
What was your reaction when Flag went down?
Cooper's one of the toughest guys I know. We know that he'll bounce back as soon as possible.
There you go. First of all, shout out to Cooper Flag. This is just me being a former athlete. Mm-hmm. Biggest compliment you can get from a teammate is he's one of the toughest guys I know.
Oh, yeah.
You could call me the best basketball player if I'm a basketball player, and I'd be like, all right, I appreciate it. If you say I'm one of the toughest guys you know, I'm puffing my chest up, I'm walking out with my head held high, especially after an injury, right? Because you want your team to know if there was any way I could play through it, if there's any way I could help the team, I would. And if you're out and they're still calling you tough, they understand the deal. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have to make some picks for tonight's game. We'll continue to break down the impact of the early ones here at the ACC Tournament in Charlotte. Again, thank you to our presenting sponsors, Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, First Horizon Bank, WakeMed, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. We do have more games coming up, and we are looking forward to them, so we'll make those picks and more coming up next.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Hey everybody, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. This week, FanDuel's bringing you a Dog of the Day Profit Boost token. One of the best parts about the tournament is when an underdog takes down a powerhouse. And right now, those upsets can get even better. Because if your underdog bet wins, you'll land even more winnings with a profit boost. It's your chance to ride with the long shots, the scrappy teams, the ones that refuse to go quietly. If you've been waiting to join FanDuel, there's no better time. The app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul, Paul with a capital P, and download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your Dog of the Day with a profit boost. Because after all, anything can happen in March. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Which of us, detective, do you suspect is the millionaire?
The evidence is everywhere. Your diamond necklace, Monty's new yacht, and the butler's new convertible. Admit it, you're all Maximilian scratch-off winners.
Of course we are. With 25 prizes of $1 million, you could be too.
New Maximilian from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro. 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone. Only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Shamrock. Everybody's Irish at Hibernian Pub's St. Patrick's Day celebrations. This year, there's double the Irish with 2 parties.
Come out for a wee drum.
Saturday, March 15th, Hibernian takes over Glenwood South from noon till 9 with live music, Irish dancers, bagpipers, and great food and drinks to celebrate all day. Then Monday, March 17th, there's a live DJ party on North Street next to Hibernian Pub on Glenwood from noon to 9. Get details at hibernianpub.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, as has been the case all week and will continue to be the case tomorrow when we do the show live from right here in the Spectrum Center in Charlotte. Our coverage has been presented by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, First Horizon Bank, Wake Med, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. Now, the teams from the state of North Carolina did get the early draw in the bracket today, so we've already seen Duke win, and we saw UNC beat Wake Forest. But coming up here on 99.9 The Fan in about 13 minutes, pregame will start for Louisville versus Stanford, and following that, SMU versus Clemson, and it is time to make some picks. As we did earlier, Dennis, I will give you the honors at the tee box. Louisville, Stanford, which team are you going with, and give us some insight into how you see it breaking down.
That's a tough question.
It is.
I'm going to lean towards Louisville in this one for the simple fact that, I mean, outside of Max Reno, Stanford doesn't have a whole lot.
Jalen Blake's, former Duke.
Let's understand where Jalen Blake's was at Duke. And it's not trying to like put Jalen Blake's down. I mean, I remember watching him get, 21 points when they played on the road at Carolina, including a game-winning shot. I was there for that game. I mean, but to me, I think Louisville is actually probably setting out with something to prove, believe it or not, because people like us saying, actually, your coach shouldn't have been coach of the year. Actually, Chucky Hepburn probably shouldn't have been defensive player of the year. So, I mean, but there is that. Like, I think they're trying to show that, hey, you know what? We are back, and we are good. I think there's a little bit for them to prove in that regard, and like, all these guys are new to the ACC. To me, I feel like Louisville actually, if anything, probably has the most to prove out of any team here.
If Louisville thought they had arrived by any stretch because they had a solid regular season ACC schedule, they'll be rudely awakened on that one, and I don't think they have.
They're trying to validate that.
Exactly.
Like, hey, our regular season wasn't a joke. We're a 2 seed for a reason.
I'm gonna let you all into my brain here.
So give me
I am
Louisville.
Extra tempted to pick Stanford. I just have a weird like cosmos lining up thing that Max Reno can be the I don't know, DJ Burns of this year's ACC championship tournament. I'm not going as far as the NCAA tournament, that run, but I just think he can be a piece that shocks some people. So the reason I'm struggling is because every logical part of my brain says Louisville is the better team. Every logical part of my brain says, top to bottom, even though I don't think Chucky Hepburn should have been the defensive player of the year in the conference, he's still a wonderful defensive player. Terrence Edwards at JMU last year was a really good player, and it has been this year, and on. We could go down the list. I just think that Louisville is the better team, so I'm going to pick Louisville. I don't know what the spread is going to be on that one. I don't know what it is. But if Louisville is getting any significant or has to give, any significant amount of points, I might take Stanford and the points. But to win outright, give me Louisville and a little bit of trepidation. I don't know, one of those weird things where my heart and my brain aren't aligning. And not saying my heart wants Louisville, wants Stanford, just a vibe.
Louisville, 10.5-point favorites.
Give me Stanford plus the points.
Okay.
Give me Stanford. I think it'll be a single-digit game.
Yeah, I can see that.
And yes, give me Stanford plus 10.5. Yeah, absolutely. The nightcap. Let's go to the nightcap. It is Clemson SMU. Another new team trying to make their first ACC tournament a memorable one. SMU did win yesterday, so they are the team that's a little bit more tired. And we are leaning into to Clemson SMU. Dennis, take it away.
Clemson, 7.5-point favorites in this one. I think Clemson, in my mind, again, I'm trying to look big picture, long term here, is that they're a team that got a big win at home over Duke, and then followed up with a massive win against North Carolina. So to me, playing big games, now granted, again, those games are at home, but big games haven't phased them. so far this year. Yes, I know they have a loss to Louisville this season. I totally understand that. But talking about trying to validate, they're trying to validate and say, hey, our run to the Elite Eight last year wasn't a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
We are also one of the best teams in the country, and we can play and run with anybody. Honestly, give me Clemson big in this.
Really?
Give me Clemson big in this.
Here's my take on Clemson. I don't know why I said really like that. I could easily see Clemson. My first reaction was, oh my gosh, when I could actually see that happening. Clemson to me is an old, like, Clemson is the team you pick to go further in your bracket in like 2006 than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Right before the Anthony Davis Kentucky national champion, before the Jahlil Okafor Duke national champion, before the so many one and dones. What did you look for? You looked for veteran. You looked for experience. You wanted veteran guards. You wanted teams that rebounded. Like those were the indicators you looked for to be like, yeah, I'm going to take this 6th seed to be playing in the Elite Eight or whatever it was back. Again, before the game was kind of changed. If you look at this game, Shefflin has been playing for forever. Guys like Hunter have been around for a long time. They have a wildly experienced crew. And speaking of experience, guess who with Leonard Hamilton, with Leonard Hamilton's FSU squad being eliminated from the tournament yesterday, and Leonard Hamilton's retirement, guess who is the elder statesman in the ACC?
Brad Brownell.
By a significant margin.
Yeah.
He's looking at 15 years in the league. And
I think it's Jeff Capel at Pitt right after that. I think it's at 7.
And that's the most, right? And then you're getting down into like the Mike Youngs and the Steve Forbes as the next group of longevity. So, Brad Brownell may be showing the new newbies a little bit of something as the elder statesman in the Atlantic Coast Conference. I have Clemson winning. What'd you say the spread was 7.5?
7.5.
I think it's a good number. I think Clemson wins. If there's one thing we've seen from the ACC tournament this year, is we might not see the best basketball, but there will be fighting to the very end by everybody involved. If it's a rock fight, it'll be a competitive rock fight. So, I don't know if 7.5 is what it ends up being, but 5 is kind of what I'm looking at there.
So Victor Locken, redshirt senior, Chase Hunter, graduate, Dylan Hunter, his brother's a junior, Highbredder is also redshirt junior, so a 4th-year player. Ian Shefflin, 4th-year player. These are all guys that get significant minutes on their team. Jaden Zachary, who's a transfer for their team in their backcourt, is a graduate as well. Again, there's a ton of experience on that team, which is valuable to have at this time.
You look, again, it's
guys have been there, done it.
In 2006, and I don't know why I picked that number, really any year before like 2011, you would look at this team and you would say the 2 big wins, right? You're looking for a team that quote unquote quad ones, but we didn't even know what quad 1 was back then.
No.
We just called them big wins. We called them wins against good teams.
Yes, quality wins.
They had those, and then they have the experience of playing a lot of college basketball. I like Clemson as a pick. I actually, and by the way, SMU, not a bad team. Boopy Miller, who we got to know very well last year playing for Wake Forest, leads their team in scoring, had missed 5 games. He was back yesterday. As he gets more into a rhythm, that they'll be better. So SMU, no pushover. I just think Clemson has some advantages working in their favor. So I take Clemson, and gosh, that 7.5 scares me. So maybe SMU in the points, but straight up Clemson in an easy way. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are nearing the end of our abbreviated show. Before we do turn things over to the pregame for that Louisville game, Dennis, final thoughts if you have one on the Duke game, the win over Georgia Tech, the injury, or the UNC rock fight win over Wake Forest.
Real quick, Duke acknowledged, at least Con Knipple said, like, hey, you know what, maybe for less young guys, it's our first ACC tournament experience. Maybe we kind of overlooked it a little bit. I don't think they're going to do that tomorrow in a rivalry game. And I think Duke actually might say, hey, you know what, people are going to say, oh, you guys don't have Cooper Flagg, you guys aren't that good. Well, hey, actually, let's go show that we are.
Duke with the chip on their shoulder for the first time?
You might get that
Look
tomorrow,
at that.
and you should get that
I also don't know if, they overlooked the postseason is why you started 0 for 13 from 3.
Well, there's that.
But I don't anticipate them doing that very often. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan from Charlotte. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 from here in the Spectrum Center. So until then, enjoy the games tonight, and we'll see you later. Have a great night.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your work